This is a production of Hollywood Impact Studios, a film school behind bars, and was filmed by our inmate students currently incarcerated inside the Los Angeles County Jail.
Parking units in 11A19, 11A19, domestic violence, 2035 right now.
We're back with Matthew. So how did that end up leading to the next incarceration?
Okay, what happened was I kept shooting up heroin and cocaine a lot too, and the job was ending, and when the job ends in the union, you go back to the union hall and they dispatch you to another job, but you also have to drug test. And I couldn't pass a drug test, and so now I'm using, and my wife kind of knew, but she didn't know because I lied so much. And I would walk out to the garage and I would look around the garage. I'd see like my skill saw, so I'd take it and sell it and buy some drugs, and the next day I would sell my router, and the next day my sander, and I would be gone for long periods of time and lying to her constantly. And she knew that I was using, but I would never admit to it. So I would take our gas card and I'd go to the gas station, and if somebody was going to pay cash for their gas, I would charge it on the gas card, and in a matter of a couple hours I would charge up a couple $100. And finally one night I was out all night, and when I came home she had packed up all my bags and threw me out. And then finally one day I was down to my last $50, without a truck, homeless. I called the connection. He met me behind a liquor store. I went behind the dumpster, injected the $50 worth of heroin, and it didn't even get me well. And now I'm having a life-changing moment because I'm sick and I've spent the last of my money. So I look up, I see a house. I walk over, I knock on the door. I don't know what I'm doing. Nobody answers. I go around to the back. I let myself in. So I went to the bedroom. I found some jewelry in there, got away with it, pawned the jewelry, bought some drugs, kept me going for a couple days, and the next thing you know, I'm a residential burglar. Eventually I get arrested for it. I go to jail, and I was out in a year. When I get out, all I could think about was calling my ex-wife. She divorced me while I was in there, and wanting to see my son Jacob. And so the day I got out, it was like one of the happiest days of my life. I got my $200 gate money. I call Stacy and I say, when can I see Jacob? And she says to me, let me check with Craig and to see if it's okay. And I'm like, who is Craig? And she said, well, I'm married now, and he's Jacob's father. And right away I just went straight downtown LA, where I know they sell drugs, and I can get a room for $18, and I was on a suicide mission. A couple days later, I'm out of money and I'm breaking into houses again. This time I get caught in a very affluent neighborhood, big house, and the alarm goes off. Cop just happens to be driving down the street. Big high-speed chase. He ends up ramming me and puts me in jail, South Pasadena. I know I'm going back to prison. At this time, the California 3 strikes law had come into effect, and I'm already have one strike. While I'm in LA County Jail, I say this prayer, and I say, God, if you get me out of this one, I will serve you for the rest of my life. One of those foxhole prayers. Mm-hmm. And you know, excuse me, God answered that prayer. A month later, I go to court, and the public defender comes in and he goes, I can't believe it. They don't know about your prior burglary. They're offering you 2 years. And the first burglary, I was sentenced to 4 years. And I said, jump on it, take the deal. So they sent me back to CRC, and it's a drug program, and you can complete it in a year again. So I get out. a year later, and one day I thought I could just drink a beer. I'd worked hard all day. I drank one beer, and I'm an alcoholic. I know that I can't drink one beer. The next thing you know, I have a six-pack. I'm going to find a prostitute, and she takes me to where I can buy drugs. By the time the sun came up the next day, my truck had been stolen. I'm downtown LA. I've spent all my money, and once again I'm doing burglaries. I know that the cops are looking for me. My parole officer's looking for me, and they finally catch me downtown LA, and they have my picture. When I got arrested, it was like 4 o'clock in the morning, and I was pretty much incoherent. I gave them my younger brother's name. They were getting ready to release me, and I came to in a holding cell, and the cop had my hair, and he was holding it up like that, and they had a blow up of my driver's license picture, and they said, "That's him." And they told me, "You're done. You're 3 strikes. You're done. You're never getting out. We're going to put you away, and the best thing you can do is make a deal with us to give up the other burglaries that you've done that we don't know about, and maybe we'll give you a little bit of leniency, but you're going away for the rest of your life." And the deal that I made with them is let me have 3 weeks here in the substation so I can kick heroin and not be downtown LA County Jail, and I'll show you the burglaries that you don't know about. And so they held me there for 3 weeks, and the detectives from each surrounding city came and got me, and I pointed out the houses that I did that they didn't know about, and I fought my case for a year and 3 months, and finally I was sentenced to 25 to life for one count, 25 to life for the second count, 25 to life for the third count, 5 years for the prior, 5 years for the other prior, 85 years to life. And when he sentenced it, I was just in shock. I didn't know how I was going to tell my family, and I just pretty much prepared myself for the rest of my life going to prison.
Wow. Where did they end up sending you?
County jail.
LA County here?
Yes, they had me at Supermax
Okay.
because of my crime. And while I was there, I got a job as a trustee, and my boss was a senior deputy, and he was a Christian, and he was going through seminary during the daytime and working at nighttime to support him and his family. And he kind of took a liking to me and was witnessing to me, and my plan was to go to go to prison and take a hot shot. And just a hot shot is a lethal amount of heroin and just check out.
Done.
Yeah. So I go to prison, and
Where? Which one?
first to Delano to reception, and then they sent me to Calipatria, way out by the Arizona border, level 4, maximum security. And it was at that time that I just didn't want to use drugs anymore, and it was just I just wanted peace. When I got to prison, I was introduced to the Christians on the yard. I hung around with them. They took me in, and I started to read my Bible. I started to pray. I made a prayer list, and pretty soon God just started to remove that desire to drink and use from me. And I believe that maybe during that time is when I came to a saving faith in Jesus Christ. And about that time they transferred me from Calipatria to Corcoran. But when they transferred me, I had about 6 months of walking with the Lord. They put me in with a guy that was using drugs, and he said, "Here, hold out your arm." And I said, "I'm not doing that. I'm a Christian. I'm not doing that." And he said, "You've got 85 to life. What do you have to live for? Just let your hair down this one time and relax and have a good time with me." I held out my arm. I took the shot, and a couple more after that, and I was able to get up on my bunk, and I was as high as you could get. And that's when I had my defining moment, a spiritual awakening. And it hit me right then that the 6 months that I had been walking with the Lord prior to taking that shot, I was happier than I am right now loaded. And that was the last time I used drugs.
Wow.